Okay, so this image is, you have to focus in really in fine detail to see that this is a sign pointing to the Winter Road to York Landing and Ilford. And this is the turnoff from the provincial highway. And Mr. Spence, could you tell us about some of the issues that you may face in relation to travel and that result from some of the hydroelectric projects past and present and future?
Yeah. Highway 280 right now, the road that leads from Thompson to Gillum, Fox Lake, right now is a mess, is a shambles. There was a sign that was put up on Highway 280 and said partnership with Manitoba Hydro, Amisk or Sikasson to repair the roads that led to our communities. And you travel that same road today that Manitoba Hydro is so proud to display as being a partner of. It's like playing Russian roulette with your life. There are boulders the size of my hat right on the road. The speed limit is 90 kilometers an hour. You can't travel that fast. On a good day, you can travel to Thompson an hour and a half. With the condition and the way the road is today, with all the traffic that's on the road now, 2 hours, 2.5 hours. But to travel that road today is like Russian roulette. Behind what cloud of dust are you going to smack into a Manitoba Hydro truck or one of their subcontractors' vehicles? It's a dangerous proposition to go on that road today. I'm pretty sure many of you who are in this room today have never been or will never travel on roads like that. And Manitoba Hydro proudly displays their name on a road that dangerous.
Mr. Spence, are there any other options in terms of getting in and out of Tatasqueyac other than this road?
No, there isn't.
Elder Beardy, can you express and share with us some of your concerns about winter road travel, especially as it relates to new construction projects?
Well, in the winter, our road is sometimes not very safe to travel because of the fluctuation in the water. Sometimes the hydro lets the water go so that we end up with water along the shoreline. And when you're trying to go across the lake, then you have to go through some slush sometimes, and this makes it very dangerous for travel. Even in the summer, this is winter I'm talking about, in the summer too, there's a lot of problems with floating debris. And those can cause accidents. I think we've had a few accidents with people in driving motorboats. But you can see a lot of that debris when you're traveling on the ferry from York Landing to Split Lake. So with the back to the winter, when the hunters and the trappers go out on their snowmobiles, you know, they run into slush and they get stuck, and sometimes they go through the ice. So that's a big safety issue.
Elder Beardy, can you explain to us what the different methods are to get to and from York Landing?
Well, right now our winter road is closed, so the only way we can get in and out of the community is to fly. And every year the company puts up their prices because there's no competition. In the summer we have the ferry, which usually starts running maybe late May, early June. And that runs twice a day. It's a 2-hour ride each way. So that's about the only way. In the winter road, of course, we were able to use our vehicles. That's about
And this next slide, Ms. Massan, is an image that you've shared. Can you explain to us what it is that we're seeing here?
it's the transmission line that goes to, from Gillum to Churchill. And then, see, that's part of my trap line right there. And right now, in the winter time, the skiddos and everything, you just go back and forth on that line. And my trap line's always affected because there's so many vehicles or skiddos and my cabin, it's not too far from, well, it's by Limestone River. And when I go stay over there, like in winter time, I hear this noise because the transmission line is not too far from where our cabin is. I hear this boom, and then another maybe 20, 25 minutes after, another boom. You can hear that when you're just going to sleep at night. And I'm pretty sure it's coming from that transmission line. I don't know what causes that, and I don't know. It's just. And there's another time. There was last winter. I went and checked my traps. They were fixing that transmission line, and there was a big swamp, and then the cat went right halfway in that swamp. So I went past, they were trying to pull it out. And when I got to that highway, 280 highway, there was a truck and I think it was a D8 on top of the trailer. So, but that cat was running on top of the, the motor was going. So I didn't bother, I turned my truck back on and I looked. I seen this, I thought it was some water. So I got out of my truck and I went and checked it. I looked at it, it was oil. That oil was just like a big, small lake. All that oil was just coming from that cat, that bulldozer D8. And so I went and told those guys. So I don't know what they did after that. I don't know how they got rid of that oil that was spilling in that area. Because I went back to Gillum too. So, and there's lots of places that I heard, I've seen that oil spills and all that. Anyway.
Mr. Mazan, can you explain to us what you might have observed, the reactions of animals in relation to these lines?
Yeah, because now the animals that used to go on that area, there's hardly any. Like what I'm saying is that those skiddos, there's so many of them going back and forth in that. It's just like a highway. So you're scaring all the animals out of that. That's like trap line and that. But it's just, I don't know where the animals are going now. They've got to be way out some other place because they're not around that area.
And do you recognize this image here? I just put another one up on the screen.
Yeah, it's knows that when you're.
Well, that's Radisson, that Radisson converter station. Way back in '60s, there used to be a night held there. What you can look at it if you guys ever go to Gillum. You see a big pulpit there. That was a beautiful area. Way back in '60s, I remember. But I used to go with my mom and granny pick berries. There was lots of stuff there. There was a lot of cable around that area too. I think they used to I know, North used to say residential thing. I think the cattle used to migrate near close to that area. I haven't seen a cattle go around that area because there's too much power there. Lots of humming noise. You can hear that from Gillum even. These things kicking like a big bang, you know. We never see hear that way back in '60s, you know. And one like you should see that mess yet in that pulpit. I think Manitoba Hydro should do something about these pits, dress them up. Look what they did in Gillum there. They dug a bunch of good ground on that black moss. They always do longswells, what I noticed last year. How come they can't haul these things along the slopes of these things? Grow trees back. That's what I like to see. You know, I guess it's nice for them to see that, like Radisson.
Mr. Massan, would it be fair to say that when you stand near Radisson Switching Yard, if you do a 360 turn, that you see something similar to this all around?
Right here?
At Radisson?
What do you mean by that?
You see these lines going out all around into the lands around Radisson?
Not as much, like you see a lot of power lines in my community. Everywhere you look, there's a power line. Like, I worked in all these power lines that lead out all of here to Churchill even. I did that, that's the last power line I walked. That's all you see is power lines. Not like in the city here, you don't see too many around here unless you go on Taylor, no, or outskirts of the city.
We're just going to switch landscapes a little bit and move to some of these images of homes. And Ms. Disborough, can you tell us where these homes that we're about to see are located?
They're in Split Lake. Those are actually people living in those homes. They're so mold infested. These are my sister's homes. They're both leaking, both of my sisters. My house is like that too. Our house, most of the houses you see in Split Lake, they're like that. Just to get away from being sick each day and coughing. We take trips on weekends. We take trips to camp just to recover from what living in those homes. We go and rejuvenate. We cough all the time in our homes. We're constantly sick. There's overcrowding in Split Lake. There's about 30 people in one home. There's young people couch surfing. They're homeless, but they go to other people's homes to sleep on the couch. Just to have a place, laundry rooms, just to have a place to sleep. And our people are in, they end up on the streets in Thompson, that homeless shelter. You see these people, this is their own land. This is where they grew up. And you see them homeless. And you see our homes. Most of in those homes, the floor is so rotten, you can fall through them. I actually seen a lot of people, even my sister, in her home, in my dad's home. In bathrooms, you can see a floor. In that first trailer I walked in, there was holes on our floor. was so rotten. Those houses decay fast.
Thank you. Mr. Moose, can you tell us what we have in front of us in terms of this picture?
Before you do that, you have to realize this is now. This is happening now, where we have a supposed partnership with Manitoba Hydro to help us benefit from all the projects. This is happening today, that these people and our people are living in homes. Our people are living on the streets in Thompson too, I've seen them. Now, this is a house they're building, I think it's called the RMT, a Ready to Move building they're putting up for Hydro employees in Gillum. My cousin calls the town of Gillum a glorified hydro camp, because the people that come there, they don't stay to live. They come there, they stay, make their money, they leave, and then they have another thing, it's called a retirement home. For people that are ready to retire, they come up there and work for the last 2 or 3 years of their career. All these homes are built with 2 meters. Even the teachers just have 2 meters. The town employees that have homes are double metered or given subsidies of hydro. The 1 meter, there's that picture there? 1 meter is attached to the heat. That's free. The employees don't pay for that. They only pay for the light. I was paying a hydro bill one time, and this lady, I know a lady from Hydro walked in there, she's complaining about her hydro bill. And I thought, good, there's somebody complaining. And I saw it was $82. And I'm standing there with mine, $768, that's 1 month. I wasn't even cold yet. See, they're getting all the benefits, and we're the people that originally lived there when we're still called squatters. We're called squatters. Why can't we? We've questioned, we've asked. Even one of our workers told one of our elders, when our elder asked her, why can't we get subsidy for hydro? She said right away, no, we can't. Why the hell not? We should be the ones getting the benefits. It's our land they come and took. Our homes are, I live in a trailer, or a lot of our members live in a trailer like them, that were given to us as a gift from Hydro years ago. And the hydro rates and the bills are over 1,000 on the coldest months. My brother-in-law is an old age pensioner. When you're a couple living as old age pensioners, your pension gets cut in half. So my sister gets $560, and so does the husband. $560, that's $1,200, okay? In the coldest months, those 2 checks combined goes to pay for their hydro bill. So they live on my brother-in-law's pension from where he works. While these guys are living in luxury. You go there in the summertime, nice green lawns, you see bikes, nice cars, or in the wintertime, skidoos, boats in the summer. That's how our homes should be looking. Not living in dumps like we are now, throw it. And when they have double wides thrown away, hydro, they don't give us the opportunity to go and maybe take a door out or a window. They're in good condition. You know what they do? They take them to the dump. They flip them upside down so we can't get at anything. Some of them they put in the hydro yard for their employees to use as cabins. That's how we're being treated today, not 30 years ago, it's today. We're suffering because of these projects. I worked on these projects, I worked with the band. I signed agreements, I sat with elders telling them we're gonna get better benefits, our life's gonna get better. These elders are all gone. They made a liar out of me. These people, Hydro, made a liar out of me, telling my elders, promising them these things they're gonna receive. Still today I hear my people that work for us sitting up here saying we're getting benefits. We're not getting no benefits. I haven't seen a darn thing since ISA. The only thing I've ever seen I held in my hand from Hydro or from the band was a $1,000 payout when we signed the ISA. Other than that, nothing tangible.
Thank you, Mr.
And they're our partners.
Thank you, Mr. Moose. I'd like to turn now to a photograph of trapline 18, and Jack and Christine Massan, this is your trapline area, is that right? Okay. And it's a commercial trapline area, but do you use this area for other uses as well?
Oh yeah, we do the hunting, fishing, and trapping, whatever.
Collecting.
Yeah.
We also collect herbs and roots for medicinal purposes. We collect berries and store them over the winter so we can use them throughout the winter until the next growth the following year. And
personal purposes are, I use a lot of the berries and stuff for my diabetes. And it's getting harder and harder each year to benefit from the natural world, to manage my diabetes so that I can live a normal life. I can't eat the fish anymore in the Nelson River because of the mercury and the way they taste after Manitoba Hydro has done their work, because the water is so murky. And we spoke about the water conditions already. Instead of repeating myself, why don't you just carry on with some of the other things? When you talk to Manitoba Hydro, they want to know exactly where we go to pick these things for medicinal uses. I can't understand how I can't say, just straight down the road, past the tree that's bent over towards the creek, like that. I can't give them a description because we don't pick in the same spot every year. Because if we do, it's depleting. And so now it takes longer and longer to go out. Have to go further into the bush to get what's good for us. And you'll hear a number of the elders say the same thing. Years ago, you could pick berries in the backyard or get your supper just in a bush next to the house. And now it takes the whole day to plan, to take the elders out, have to have a vehicle, and the list just goes on and on. Life in general, trying to live in harmony as we always have, is getting more and more difficult.
Yeah, that transmission line you can see there was one of my cabinets I was talking about. Yeah, right there. And there was one time, I think these Ben Island caribou came, and I was following them. They went underneath. They went under the transmission line, so I drove underneath there too. When I was driving, all of a sudden, I don't wear a cap or anything. Excuse me. When I was driving underneath there, I wondering what's going on. Like my hair, someone was pulling my hair up when I was going underneath the transmission line. So I was looking around, I figured someone was pulling. No, I don't know if that's the power from that line that's pulling, or it was pulling my hair, or. So I went further out, and then I came back. Same thing happened when I was going underneath that power line. So I don't know what's happening. The animals that go underneath those lines, or I don't know what's. That's where that's going to be. That pipe hole 3 is going to go right across that.
And Mr. Massan, this is a photo of one of your cabins, one of your trapping cabins?
No, that's, yeah, well, when I was 15 years old, that's when I built that cabin. So it's right after when I escaped from the residential school. So, yeah, that's one of my cabins, but the other one is way up the Limestone River.
Thank you. Mr. Massan, this is your trapline area, trapline 9, is that right? Mr. Noah Massan?
Yeah, that's right. I inherited that trapline 2000 after my dad died. But it used to belong to the grandfathers before me. And when Hydro flooded it, you can see how much of that land is flooded. And then they never got nothing for it from Hydro. And then, and here they're trying to build power lines right through my trap line and the road.
Why is your trap line important to you?
Well, we've been using it as a harvester. We harvest right through, not just winter. I used to trap lots now. It's sort of slowing me down because of my illness. I don't know what this thing they call Kennedy disease. My muscles are drying up, they say. They told me I'd be in a wheelchair. When you're 50, I'm older now, I'm 64 now. I still do it.
And Mr. Massan, you eat food from this area. How many, for example, how many geese would you take from your trapline area for food every year?
Well, if I go back, if there's geese when I get home, if I can get 25, I'll kill 25. I've got enough for in a fall. Not just the geese, the ducks too. Like I fish right through summertime, the big berries and things like that, you know. We don't stop, just because the season's over. We always right through, they're like the farmers. They put their crop in there and then they take them in the fall.
Mr. Massan, will some of your hunting and trapping areas be affected by kiosk?
Lots of it. When the transmission line on the road, you know, Manitoba Hydro is taking a good section of my chop line. There's chop line ridge there, that's where the road's gonna be. And animals are starting to come back after 40 years, like they used to be back in 60s. I remember running around Cash Lake, that's only 5 miles out of Gillum. I was pretty young that time. Maybe I asked my auntie how old I was going to start chopping. She said, you watch shooting. That's not words, you were pretty young. I think around 9 or 8. That was my grandpa's. That's before hydro come. Now we don't even see in that chop line ever since after hydro flooded and diverted the Budno River. Budno River used to go to where the boat launches. They diverted man-made river from Cass Lake to Kettle River now. It's destroyed. Like, I don't see no more muskrats. When North South was studying there about 10 years ago, that one guy that retired from North South, he told me they only seen one muskrat. And I told him, you was wrong, I seen 2 of them. He said, you know, I seen 2 of my twin, but I didn't kill them. I figured I'd make a comeback. Look, the lynx are starting to come back. Now what's going to happen to those animals? They're starting to come back to where they were. And the care will have the little ones on that certain area where the hydro switching yard's going to be. I asked that question there in that other hearing, how far was that? It's only a couple of miles away. What's going to happen to those people when that switching yard and the 3 power lines were turned on the run on the road?
Mr. Massan, is that going to have an impact on your commercial activities, but also your food?
Yeah, because my brother and my helpers are still chopping. They're doing good. What's going to? I asked them before. Told my dad and my grandpa's. We used to make an area. We don't chop one year one place. We switch around, make a big circle. Now, my brother was telling me, we can't do that now, but we must all catch whatever we can catch in that area, because I just want to destroy our land, our chopping area.
Thank you. And Elder Beardy, this is a quote just to wrap up this section on the present and move us into into talking a bit more about the past. But can you share your understanding of what it is that is being said here?
Our legacy should be a better one than we have now. What legacy do we have left? In my community, the water it's no good. You know, we can't drink the water. The fish is no good in our area. We have to go further away to get fish. What kind of legacy does that leave us in our community? The kids can't go swim, if they go swimming in the river, they come out, they're covered with some film. And then they go in and shower, and sometimes our water is just brown. So what do you do? When they were talking about houses here, we have the same problem with our houses. They're not, like my hydro bill isn't as high as Ivan's, but for the past 4 months now, I've been paying over $400. And it's because we don't have proper doors or porches on them, and you could just feel a draft go through. So what kind of a legacy is hydro leaving in our communities?
Thank you, Alder Weirdy. Monsieur le Président, si c'est un moment propice for a break, that would be welcomed by the panel.
Let's take 10 minutes. Thank you.